Talking Chips und so. Ah, ich bin so hyped. A1, okay. A1, check. Haken dran an die 1. Nee, der Jared hätte fast Taking Shit gesagt eben, als er das erste Mal vorgestellt hat. Der A1-Trailer ist schon ziemlich geil. Und jeder, der nach A1 schon geflogen ist, weiß, wie laut die Dinger sind.
You can feel it in the atmosphere.
Mir ist was aufgefallen. Was ist dir denn aufgefallen? Dass du mehr Schiffe als nur der eine Herald brauchst? Ja, das kann ich mir vorstellen.
Keeping the universe safe and secure. Forge the future you want to see. The A1 spirit from Crusader Industries.
Closing Event, da steht nicht, sie sagen Tschüss. Der Herr Chris Robert sagt, bla bla, schön, dass ihr da wart. Squadron 42, morgen, ciao.
Hi everyone. Have we all had a good morning looking at cool stuff?
Hey John.
Great. My name's John Crew. I'm the vehicle director here at Cloud Imperium Games.
And my name is Ben Curtis. I am the vehicle art director at CIG.
So we're going to spend the next 45 minutes talking ship. We're going to show you some cool stuff that you've hopefully seen, some cool stuff that you're not supposed to have seen,
Chris
but you probably already
die
have,
zeigen einfach nochmal das Video.
and some cool stuff, again, you're not supposed to have seen, but what you've seen is wrong. So hopefully we can clear that up for you all. Right, so that was the A1 Spirit trailer. Pretty cool video. But we're now going to do a bit of a slightly deeper dive into the actual art and visuals of the ship.
Ich muss sagen, ich bin gar nicht hooked, weil die A1 haben wir schon in-game. Ich habe schon ein Before You Buy gemacht, was heute um 18 Uhr erschienen ist zur A1. Also ich bin jetzt bin ich null hooked.
As we move into the heart of the ship, this area is kind of like really dominated by those 10 sci-fi bombs. And then we go straight into engineering, where you find the rest of the ship components that it needs. Up front, we've got a completely fully featured habitation area, suit lockers, weapon lockers, pod beds, everything you're going to need. And then right at the cockpit, we have a two-pilot cockpit, and I think the Crusader engineers have done a fantastic job of putting everything that the pilot needs right at their fingertips. So, in the heat of battle, you kind of might just eke out that advantage. Exterior-wise, it's classic Crusader. We've got our recessed weapons. We've got our rear-mounted remote turret.
Musik ist cool.
And then underneath, it's all business. We've got the missile racks, and we've got the big bomb bays.
So schnell fallen die da nicht raus. Nee.
And I think overall, Crusader have done it again. They've done a amazing job of packaging.
Ich habe so dolle probiert, die noch schneller rauszudrücken, indem ich mit der Maus geklickt habe und mit dem Joystick gleichzeitig, hat auch nicht funktioniert. Nee.
And then here is one last look. Oh, or not. Okay, that was one last look of the interior.
We go there. So we had a really cool cutaway that you half saw. I'm sure we can show you that again later. If you like what you saw there, that is available now on that link and a QR code there that hopefully takes you to the right place. So that is available in Alpha 321, which went live
Ja, ich habe 4
Thursday.
Stück
I've
gleichzeitig
honestly
geladen.
lost track of time the last few days. So yeah, that's the current. Let's talk about something a bit further in the past. So, we have a timeline here from the today all the way through to today
Bombing war stand
in-game.
schon in den Data.
And throughout
In
that
den
time
Datalogs
period,
stand das schon.
we have our manufacturers in law, starting with RSI in the very near future, going all the way through
Polaris.
to Mirai, which is this year in-game. And over that, We have some very old ships, ships that people think are
Ich
quite
raff
old.
gerade nicht, wo wir
We have
sind.
the Hornet, we have the Aurora,
20,
and we have the Gladius. However, as you can see, there is quite a gap from the current day to these old ships. So let's talk about
so,
one that is
ja,
a
okay.
bit older than
Er
that.
ist Zeus, na klar.
So,
Yay, die Zeus.
the RSI Zeus.
So in 2130, hold on. In 2130, RSI made some major kind of advancements in quantum technology. They developed, or they released, the first ship that was kind of available to the mass market that had quantum capability. This kind of mid-range explorer really put RSI at the kind of forefront of ship development. Now, it was a really good thing, it really kind of boosted them as a company, but it wasn't kind of all good. The original RSI Zeus had some
die
major
Seite.
issues
Die
with
Homepage
its
ist down,
whole
Leute.
integrity.
Alle Leute hämmern gerade
That
wie
being
wild
said,
F5. Die
there's always
Homepage
kind of
geht
been
down.
this demand for RSI to release the Zeus.
Jedes Jahr das Gleiche.
It's kind of had this cult following that's grown up over the years.
Oh, geil.
I'm kind of very happy to announce today that RSI have kind of taken that challenge on board. They've developed a whole new vehicle
Die
that
MK2.
is designed to ferry a whole new generation of travelers across our universe. Visually, it's something that pays homage back to the original Zeus and something that's really is justified to have that name. And I'm even happier to say it exceeds all current safety standards and all our current ship production techniques.
Ich komme nicht
So,
auf die Seite.
do you want to have a look at the all-new RSI Zeus Mark II?
Ich komme nicht auf die Seite.
Okay then. Here it is.
Sieht nett aus.
So,
Die sieht nett aus.
we are going to hand over to Elwin and Mark
Dingelsitz.
to go through this, and you can see there's 3 of them there. So we're going to do a bit of a deeper dive onto these 3 ships.
Die eine
now.
sieht aus wie
So,
ein,
over to Mark and Elwin.
weiß nicht, Schiff.
Let's give them a welcome. Come on, let's go, let's go.
Die eine sieht ein bisschen aus wie ein Industrieschiff.
Hi there, everyone. My name's Mark Gibson. I'm the lead vehicle content designer at Cloud Imperial
Meine
Games.
Seite sieht gerade so aus. Das ist meine Seite. Die lädt nicht mehr.
And I'm Owen Batchelor, Vehicle Art Director in North America. What do you guys think?
Ich wette, die Leute, die neuen Schiffe gerade kaufen, die Cracksüchtige,
Awesome.
sind dieselben, die lautstark
Alright,
auf
well,
Reddit über das Spiel
Let's take some time now and
Ist
take a
gerade
look
nicht
at
läuft.
this
Ja,
classic
definitiv.
RSI design
1000%.
and see how we've reimagined it.
So, when we decided we wanted to tackle the Zeus, we had to consider what direction RSI would take it in if they were going to do it today. We couldn't just remake the original Zeus because, although it was obviously a massive piece of history, all it was really used for was transporting and moving around. So we had to consider exactly what we wanted to do with the ship. In the end, we decided to go for 3 variants, allowing you to pick which way you want to actually play the game. So what we're going to do is talk about those variants that we decided on in the end and go into a bit more detail with them. First of all, we have the ES. The ES is the Essential. It's the long-range exploration version of the Zeus. It's designed to let you go out for a long time and explore the universe. Next up, we have the Mark. The Mark is the bounty hunter version. This is there for you so you can actually
Da sehe
go
ich eine
out,
coole
find
Idee.
your
Sehe ich da.
targets and bring them back.
Das ist
It's
kein-
also been purposely outfitted
Das ist eine
so
coole
that
Idee,
you
kein
have all the
EMP,
tools
oder?
that you need to disable, capture, and bring them home. Finally, the last version we're going to talk about is the CL, the Clipper. Might be a name people are familiar with if they know much about maritime. This is the cargo version of the Zeus Mark II. This is designed so that you can move your goods around the universe.
Of the 3 variants, the Zeus Essential is the one that harkens back the most to the original design, with the original white on
Ja,
black
sind
paint job
Die
and the
ES und die
vertical
CL sind bei
stabilizers. We also
150
worked to maintain the
und die
silhouette
MR
of
ist
the
bei
original, but
190.
brought that forward to modern day RSI design
Alle
with
nicht
tons
als
of technical detail
Warbond
and
im
layered
Ship Upgrade
panels.
Store gelistet.
And on the underside, the landing gear and the underslung turret, as
Ich
well as
glaube,
the
die werde ich mir alle 3 holen.
entrance ladder,
Sieht ein
fold in
bisschen nach einem
perfectly
Single-Seater
flush,
aus.
leaving behind a super smooth underbelly, just like the original design.
But you probably all want to see what the inside looks like. So let's have a closer look.
Ist doch kein Single-Seater.
Despite the sleek
Zwei.
and slim body of the Zeus, we've been able to pack a
Nee,
lot
ein
into
Bett,
it to give
zwei
everything you
Betten.
need when you're doing the
Oder?
deep space exploration. You have a fairly comfortable habitation and recreation
mein
area,
Schiff.
so that when
Nee,
you're
es sind
out
drei
away
Leute.
from home, it's not too unpleasant. In addition to that, the rear room
Eins, zwei,
has
drei.
a 32 SU cargo capacity, as well as being able to fit a cyclone, so if you do decide to land on our planet, you can have a look around. Talking about the loadout, it's a ship designed for 3 crew. It comes with 4 size 2 shield generators,
Ich glaube, das ist
2
trotzdem mein
size
Schiff.
2 power plants, 2 size 2 coolers, and 2 size 4 pilot
Drei
controlled
Mann
weapons.
finde ich.
And obviously
Ich finde
the
die
lower turret
MSR
that we
okay,
mentioned
aber das
earlier
finde ich,
is
das
a
Schiff
size
gefällt mir
3
mehr.
remote turret.
Now, the Zeus Mark was always designed from the beginning to be a sleek and aggressive
Sieht
bounty
sehr
hunter.
geil aus.
As such, the black paint will help you stay hidden in the shadows until you're ready to strike. We've
Das
also
Ding ist, ich habe nur
redesigned the
2
spine
Wheeler-Freunde,
in
die
order
das
to
Spiel
embed
spielen,
an
deswegen macht das Sinn.
EMP and a quantum dampener, which allows us on the art side to really crank up the level of detail on the exterior. We've also added a second remote turret on the top.
Ja, wenn die Seite wieder
Looking at the
verfügbar ist. Wir
interior
gucken
of the
nachher
Mark,
nochmal uns die
you
Schiffe an,
see
ja?
that the habitation's taken a little bit of a hit. It moved forward,
Also
but what
ich
we've been able
schmelze die
to add in
Kraken nachher.
exchange for that
Schmelze
is
ich
a
die an?
massive armory. Let you take all the different weapons and equipment you might need while you're tracking your target along the verse. Looking into the rear, we actually have a dedicated area just for the actual bounty hunter pods, similar to what you'll see in the Cutlass Blue. So you can stack up the pods and take multiple people back with you. It has less SU than the ES. It only has 16 SU. And it does have a different loadout with the components, only having 3 size 2 shield generators. Like Owen said, it does have a top-mounted forward-facing turret so that you can put the pressure on the target as you're chasing them.
Mir gefallen alle
EMP
drei.
and QD drive are designed to stop the target escaping.
Alle drei Varianten
once
davon
you've caught up
gefallen
with
mir.
them.
Cargo gefällt mir sehr gut. Bounty Hunter gefällt mir
Now,
sehr
because
gut.
the Zeus
Und
Clipper focuses on hauling cargo, we've decided
Erst
to
habe ich
lean
vergessen.
into the industrial aesthetic. We've covered the exterior with a
Ach so,
warning strip
Exploration.
paint
Ja,
job,
alle drei gefallen mir.
and we've covered the exterior with more technical detail and armor plating. In addition to that, it comes with a remote tractor beam, which is mounted on the rear to the side of the ramp to make it easier to haul cargo in
Tobi,
and
bist
out
jetzt
of
zu Hause?
cargo hold. We've also added thrust capacity to the base of the wings.
Das Zeus
As you can
Dreierpack
see,
kostet
there
470
is an
Euro.
absolutely massive rear to it compared to the others. The habitation areas
525.
have been massively pushed so that
Als
you don't get much space, but
non-warbound.
we can get way more cargo in. It actually has 4 times the cargo capacity of the S, coming in at 128 SUs of cargo. This one also features 3 size 2 shield generators, and like Al mentioned, it has a size 3 tractor beam to make it much easier to get those cargo containers in and out as you're actually playing. What do you think?
120 Monate Insurance. Ich glaube, da geht meine Kraken für drauf, Leute.
So, last year we introduced the Spirit, and anyone that may be playing on live the last couple of days might have seen a new ship adding to the verse, the A1. We hope to follow a similar route with the Zeus, where we announce it today, and then in about a year's time, ready to reveal to the public to actually play with. But this isn't just a concept. We're not just going to show you some images. The Zeus is actually in active white box development right now. Do you just have a
Nice.
look?
Das?
Shall we?
Wir gucken uns das nachher alles an, Pulsar.
Okay.
Hast du den Link zum Dreierpack? Ich hab einen Link offen, ja. 525 Non-Warbound und die
as you guys
Warbound-Variante
have
weiß ich
seen
nicht.
with the Spirit and with the many ships we've
490,
released
glaub
thus
ich.
far, our ships can, when they're finished, look absolutely gorgeous. But before any of them get to that point, they have to go through a very specific development process. And this is the first stage in that process. We call this white box. At this point, we've taken the concept, ripped it to shreds, and then reassembled it and plugged it all back together within the editor so that we can get a real good look at what players are going to see when they finally get this game. At this stage, with the Zeus, we've already ripped out all the thrusters, we've ripped out the landing gear, the turret, the seats, the beds, all of the interior spaces, plugged those guys back in, and we have what you see here. So again, the beginning of the process. At this point, we're able to jump in, start throwing in cargo, interacting with doors, getting in and out of beds, maybe in and out of toilets, and just getting an overall sense of what it feels like to interact with the vehicle. And it is very common that in this stage, we will make some adjustments from the original plan. As an example, on this ship, we've just made the decision to expand the center corridor, add a little bit more space to the rooms. And as a result, that's gonna make it much smoother experience for players to traverse the interior of the ship, as well as for AI to traverse the interior of the ship. We've also expanded the main airlock that leads to the enter-exit ladder. And up here in the cockpit, we've separated the co-pilot seats a tad bit just to allow players to get in and out a little easier. So with White Box, not the prettiest stage in the process, but it is essential that we nail this, because it means we'll be able to deliver a beautiful ship that is also extremely fun to play.
So that was the RSI Zeus in the 3 variants. Obviously, as the screen says behind me, it's available now on the Star Citizen website. You all follow that URL or the QR code behind me. Now, we've just talked about the ship with the longest legacy in the universe. It was the first ship with the quantum travel. Let's change pace a little bit and talk about a much newer ship. We're going to talk about the Cutter.
Okay.
Good little ship. So, obviously, last year, IE, we unveiled the Cutter, and you guys seem to love it. Some interesting information about it. It was actually the single most popular straight-to-flight ready ship we've ever released.
Ja,
you guys really liked it. In addition to that, it's actually the best-selling Drake ship to date. But
Ist ja auch
what
geil.
people didn't know, and we kept a very good guarded secret that no one managed to figure out. No one.
Niemand.
It was always meant to be a family of 3.
Ja, hat niemand rausgefunden.
Now,
Cutter
what everyone
Chairman's
is very
Club,
familiar
Twin
with
Pack.
is the base. That's the version that's out in the universe right now that you're already enjoying.
Es gibt
What we're
das
gonna do today,
Cutter
though,
Twin Pack, Leute.
is we're going to talk about
Als
the next
Warbond.
variant
100
in the
Euro
family,
für 2 Cutters. Mega krasser Preis.
the Scout.
All right, let's just take a minute and sort of enjoy the incredible work that the art team has done pushing this guy out.
Vielleicht kaufe ich mir einfach alle Cutters, alle Zeus und die F8. Und dann bin ich fertig. Dann bin ich fertig. Vielleicht scheiße ich auf Industrieschiffe.
When the original when the original Cutter was released, it helped us to refine the Drake aesthetic. And now with the variants, we'll be able to add a
Davon kann ich keine
unique
Legatos kaufen.
identity to each version. On the Scout, we've decided to replace the main thrusters with a dual thruster system. And you'll see here we've also added a radar dish to the top,
Bisher haben
which
sie auf der
relates directly
Homepage
to the
nur die
scanning
2
gameplay that
Cutter-Versionen, die
comes with the
normale
ship.
und die Scout.
In addition to that, we have a series of exterior bottom modifications to just push that flavor a little bit further. And you'll see here a transition between the default and the Scout, so you can clearly see the differences.
Das heißt, die dritte, die Exploration, zeigen sie noch gar nicht.
On the interior, we've expanded the rear section of the ship in order to include a dedicated standing scanning station.
Die Scout
which
ist
we'll
zum
show up here in a
Scannen, die
second.
Exploration ist zum lange Fliegen.
Along with that, we've also increased the space in the rear to house the larger
Exploration ist immer
components that
lange
are
fliegen.
necessary to support that gameplay. Now, expanding the rear did encroach into the habitation, but we were able to rearrange the components in that room
Sehr geil.
so that nothing was lost in the transition. And on the cockpit, it's the same cockpit
Ey
that
Leute, ich
you
glaube,
all
das
know and
passiert
love
wirklich,
from
ne?
the
Ich scheiße
original
auf
Cutter.
Industrie. Wenn ich
From
Industrie
this
machen
view,
will,
you'll
frage ich
more clearly
Obstkuchen.
see the shift that we had to make in the rear
Also,
in order to support the
for real
gameplay that
jetzt.
we're trying to achieve.
Alles, was ich haben will an Industrieschiffen, hat Obstkuchen.
We're really proud of what the team has done with this ship,
Meine ich
and we
ernst
hope you
gerade.
like the Scout as much as we do.
Der Obstkuchen, der hat eine Orion und der hat eine Pioneer. Mehr will ich doch gar nicht. Deswegen mag ich Obstkuchen so.
So, obviously, we've just introduced the Scout. What are the main differences between the base? It is a variant after all. So the first big difference is the radar. It has a size 2 radar, and to accommodate, to supply that,
Bis das nächste
it comes with a
Industrieschiff
size
rauskommt.
2 power plant,
Die Comet
and
habe ich
size
schon
2
gekauft, mach dir mal
size
keine
2
Sorgen.
cooler.
Die ist schon, also das neue Mining-Schiff, was
As well
jetzt
as
noch
the
gleich noch
dedicated
gezeigt
scan
wird, das habe ich doch schon.
terminal that Ella mentioned earlier. Obviously, as you saw, habitation got a little bit cozier, and unfortunately, it has lost 2 SU compared to the base, so it only has 2 SU cargo
Mabu.
capacity instead of the 3. Now, what we also want to do is talk a little bit more about the future of scanning, if people are interested in hearing about that.
Oh, Mabu, jetzt kommt dein Ding. Ich mach mal lauter für dich.
So what is the future of scanning? We'll touch on it lightly. At the moment, there are 2 main ways for you to interact with the scanning gameplay loops. The first one's obviously the scan, and the second one's the ping system. Both of these are going to be merged into a single system known as a scan wave. When you send a scan wave out, if you get any successful pings, what will happen is it will immediately populate your HUD with an AR marker, giving you information about what you've been able to scan, as well as starting to give you far more interesting information than you get now, rather than just the name of the ship. The underlying system will work on the signature system, similar to what it does today, and there are 2 main scans. There is the quick scan. The quick scan is just a low version of it. It has a very small impact on your own signal output, so if you want to stay a little bit more covert and potentially not be seen looking at something you shouldn't, you can use that one instead. The main benefits are small increase to your actual passive detection range, as well as being able to detect things that maybe are a little fainter than you should be able to see. This has a decent amount of cutting through interference, but not phenomenal. The other version is the charge scan. The charge scan is the big scan. Now, this will actually allow you to detect things up to quantum boost range, which is way, way further than the current passive detection range. And not only that, but it'll actually drop a marker allowing you to jump straight to that location for whatever it is that you found. Now, you don't want to be jumping in blind. And as I said, it's going to give you way more information than it did before. Some examples, but not limited to this, are things like whatever it is it charging a quantum drive? Is it firing? Is the shields generating? Does it have any shields? Is it perhaps charging an EMP? Maybe it's got a snare up trying to catch you. It gives you that additional information so you can make the decision whether you actually want to get to that location.
Glaube ich, hol mir eine Terrapin.
That's just a brief glimpse into the future of scanning and what our vision is for it. Right now, the Scout is actually in 321. It's available. If you go to that address or go to our website, QR code, it's actually in the universe right now. You don't need to wait for a patch for that. I've been Mark.
And I'm Elwin. And before we step off, if you haven't had a chance to get one of these hats, this one in particular is signed by 7 members of the ship development team. And if you want it, during the meet and greet, if you can tell me the name of the 7 people who signed this, all of who are in attendance here, by the way, today, the first person to give me those names gets to keep it. Other than that, thanks, guys, and have a great SitCon.
Small hit for you. John Crew is one of those names. Well, fantastic, guys, everyone. We're going to hand you back to John and Ben. They've got a few more surprises for you.
Ey, Leute, wisst ihr, was gemein ist? Der Cutter Chairman's Club und der Zeus Chairman's Club, die Skins sehen so gut aus. Warte, ich zeige euch die ganz kurz, während der reinläuft. Guckt euch das mal an. Dieses Schwarz-Gold sieht so gut aus, aber 470 Euro zu bezahlen auf gar keinen
as
Fall.
Mark said there, scanning stuff is coming in the future. We didn't show a lot of it because it does sort of turn up in some other teams' panels, and we didn't want to steal their glory a day early. So I highly recommend sticking around for both the UI one and the flight one tomorrow. So, we've talked about the past, we've talked about the present. Let's talk about the future. So, here is a big block of squares that represents our backlog. So, each one of these squares is a ship or a vehicle. All the light blue ones are all the ones we have released to date. All those gray ones are the ones that we have not done yet. The dark blue ones are the ones that will be in your hands by the end of the year. So we have over 200 vehicles for us to support as a vehicle content team. For those of you that are trying to do the maths in your head right now going, that's the wrong number. This includes every single vehicle that we've ever shown to you, whether that's in a Squadron 42 visual tease or like a trailer. Some of them are obviously Squadron exclusives, some of them are going to be NPC exclusives. We still have to support them all. So every vehicle in the game, we have our hands on, and we do a lot of work to support them for you. Mm. Not the only thing we do. We obviously introduce new content like the Mirai Fury. Mm-hmm. We deliver previous promised content. And as you'll see today and tomorrow, we do a lot of gameplay support. So obviously we help out. Ships are like the heroes of the game. You saw in the resource network engineering panel how that's going to impact ships. You will have seen, if you've been paying super close attention, some UI elements to do with maps. Stay tuned for that. We do all that. So we do a lot of work across all aspects of both projects. And to do all that, we need to do a few things.
Okay, yeah, so John's talked a bit about the backlog. I'm going to kind of take a little bit, how are we going to deliver this? So in April 2023, we actually kicked off a new ship team in our newest studio, Turbulent, based out of Montreal.
6-7 Leute halt.
Yeah, go Canada. So we've now got 5 artists, or vehicle artists, 1 vehicle designer, 1 embedded QA tester, and 1 producer. And that kind of gives us everything we need to start bringing content out of another
Die
location.
haben zum Beispiel die Scout gebaut, wenn ich da mich nicht recht
And it
irre.
also means that we now have kind of reps globally for the vehicle content team in all 5 of our studios. What's the really nice thing about that is it kind of opens up a new pool of a kind of talent that we can pick from.
Pass auf, die
And it
Polaris
should
wird
really
heute
help
auch
us
noch
to
veröffentlicht.
deliver some more content to the game. And you've actually just seen the first 2 ships out of that studio. So the Scout variant and the Zeus are both being developed by our Montreal team.
Krass, ey, Turbulent ist so
Yeah.
ein gutes Team, ne?
They're doing great.
Wahnsinn. Und der Scout wusste ich, dass die von denen ist.
We're going to look a little bit more in depth at the kind of the art team and how we've grown over the years. You can see from this graph, this is our kind of like live numbers of how many vehicle artists we have dedicated to the project. You can see there's a nice trajectory going up.
Ja.
And with more team members, that also means we get kind of like not just more people to throw at stuff, but we get more experience, we get more knowledge, and that's that allows us to kind of tackle our larger, kind of more complex ships.
Aber das, wenn es noch
You
ein
will
paar
notice
Leute,
there
ne?
in 2022 there is a little dip, and unfortunately when that happens, that has kind of real consequences on what we are able to do as a
Die
team.
Banu.
I think less people, so less power to put on stuff, but also some of that knowledge leaves us.
Ey, wenn die Banu heute rauskommt. Das wäre krass.
With that leads us to have to make some kind of pretty hard and heavy decisions about what we're working on. And I think most recently and probably most well known is the Banu Merchantman. Yeah. Now, we're going to take a quick look at where we got to with the Merchantman, just to show where we were up to before that happened in 2022.
Ich glaube, die kommt heute. Ich glaube, die sagen gleich, die kommt. Nächste Alien Week wäre im Mai. Aber ich glaube, die hier kommt heute raus. 10 Jahre 2 Tage CitizenCon. Das Ding wird heute rauskommen. Meine Nippel sagen das gerade. Da dreht sich zu viel. Da dreht sich zu viel, dass die nicht fertig ist. Wisst ihr, was ich meine? Warum sollten sie so Bewegungen schon drin haben, wenn die nicht schon... Also... Ich fühl's gerade. Ich fühl's gerade, Leute. Ich wette mit euch... Das sieht noch nach Greybox aus. Weiß ich nicht. Der hat ja auch... Er sagt ja auch, das ist das, was passiert. So weit waren sie, als das passiert ist. Das ist 1 Jahr her, als der Chefentwickler von der Banu rausgegangen ist. Das ist 1 Jahr her, was sie gerade zeigen. Denkt ihr, in einem Jahr haben die da nicht weitergemacht? Ich weiß nicht, ob Keule hier gerade zuguckt, aber ich fühl's, Keule. Falls du zuguckst, Keule, ich fühle es gerade. Nur für dich fühle ich's. Nur für dich fühle ich das gerade, Keule. Nur für dich. Ich hab Gänsehaut. Kommt! Jared hat gesagt, niemand erwartet, dass das heute passiert. Und das hier hat niemand erwartet. Niemand hat mehr drüber nachgedacht über die Banu. Die Gerüchteküche war nicht da. Nichts war da. Ich schwöre euch, genau das, was Lupus geschrieben hat. Und so sieht sie heute aus. Das kommt gleich. Let's fucking go! Berlau, vielen Dank für 17 Monate. Komm! Komm! Die Musik ist zu episch, dass das jetzt so... Ja, okay, und so sah sie damals aus. Wir haben vielleicht ein bisschen was gemacht, die kommt vielleicht irgendwann. Nee, die Musik ist gerade... Nee, nein, Leute.
So that video shows, where we got up to with the Merchantman. You can see we'd finished white box. We were kind of into grey box. Some areas were further than others. And I think one of the best things about working at a company like Cloud Imperium Games is that we're able to be pretty honest and pretty open with our development. One of the biggest questions we get is, what's up with the Merchantman? Where is it? Why did it stop? And the Merchantman brought a lot of unique challenges to us. It was a completely new art style, something that's very, very different from what we normally do with our human manufacturers. I think
Halt die Fresse! Mach's!
We could have paused other ships.
Mach
we could have moved some of our other artists onto the Merchantman. But with the kind of exodus of our kind of senior team in 2022,
Leute, haut mal 100 Bits raus.
Just lose
kriegt ihr
people.
Emotes.
We lost a lot of the knowledge that went into building out that white box and really kind of delivering that art style. What we decided to do at the time is rather than try and rush something out and just get something out to get it done, we looked at where we were, and for us, the most important thing was growing our team back up. We wanted to invest in our team and use our seniors and our kind of managers to help get us up to the point where we can tackle multiple large capital ships at one time. I think the graph previously kind of showed that we've got the head numbers now, and now it's about onboarding our new staff members. It's about skilling them up and getting them to the point. And I would absolutely love to be stood here on the stage and going, yeah, look at the Merchantman, it's amazing, like it's done. But we're not at that point just yet. We do see all the comments, I do see all the notes about it, and I absolutely want to get this ship out and done.
Dann zeig doch nicht so
Welcome.
Dankeschön. Otzk, Dankeschön.
Yeah, I just wanted to be open and honest as to where we are up to with the development.
Yeah. To add to that, it is probably the most question I get asked.
Die bauen das Ding so auf, um es dann so fallen zu
I
lassen.
really want to get it done, get it out for you guys.
Verarscht mich nicht.
But we don't want to give you a half-baked thing. We want to give you a really great product that we can all be proud of, and it's delivered alongside gameplay.
Das machen die doch nicht.
So, let's talk about something else quickly.
What the fuck?
So, Squadron 42 vehicles.
Was? Haben die das gerade... Was?
How many of you have an Idris of some kind? Right.
Was?
So, we plan to deliver the Idris alongside the Squadron, and that doesn't mean just the M. We're going to deliver the M, the P, and the K kit all together in one delivery.
Ja, wenn Squadron rauskommt, wissen wir alle, ist ja okay.
Javelin owners, I'm afraid, you're going to have to wait a bit longer after that. Is obviously the bigger ship players can own. And we have recently looked at what is left to deliver on it. We've got plans. There will be modularity with it. And yeah, that will come after Squadron releases. And those of you who also have the Vandal Scythe, Glaive, Blade, after Squadron releases, you will also get the updated models as well for that.
Alter, die haben mich gerade so gepusht.
Right. Next.
Und dann machen die das?
Okay. No kind of ship panel at a CitizenCon event is kind of done without looking at what's coming up next.
So, jetzt gib mir wenigstens mal mein
Previously, we used to do these kind of like
Ich bin gerade
silhouettes.
richtig angepisst, wirklich.
But we kind of always felt they were a little bit predictable. We ended up just making most of them anyway. So last year we changed things up. We asked what manufacturer do we want to see
bin grad
make
mega
our next
angepisst.
large mining ship. And you're going to see more about that at IEE next month. But again, this year we decided just to mix things up a little bit with how we wanted to deliver this. So you're about to see in a minute a video. It shows some ships you might recognize. Hopefully, it will show you some that you don't recognize. But feel free to get on Spectrum afterwards, take a look, give us a guess at what you think they might be, because we'd love to hear your input.
John, ich bin gerade
I will just add to
stinksauer.
that as well. We aim to deliver everything you see in this video and more in the next 12 months.
Okay. Ja, die X1 haben wir ja schon gesehen, dass die war ja im Writebox schon fertig. Die sah im Writebox schon aus, als hätte die LOD 0 oder so. Ist der links? Das ist ein Cargoschiff. Cargo, keine Ahnung. Das ist der Bomber. Die A1. Das ist die Fury. Glaube ich. Das ist die Legionnaire Green. Das ist der Bomber, Entschuldigung. Keine Ahnung.
I don't know if you noticed, but there was quite a big ship at the end of that video. And yeah,
Geht so.
just to confirm, that is the Polaris.
Wow.
So, we've done a lot of talking. We'll do a bit more talking about it.
Das war jetzt,
so
das
yeah,
war
okay.
jetzt voll der Surprise, dass die Polaris
Just wanted
da
to
drin
touch
war.
again on why are we doing an RSI ship? Like, what is with that? So, the thing about doing another RSI ship is that we've got a really well-established art style for RSI in our universe, and it gives us the ability to kind of train up newest members of the teams on something that's kind of quite a known element. That is absolutely not the only benefit, though. The way we are planning on tackling the Polaris is not tackling it as one ship, but actually we want to tackle, anyone that knows our backlog knows we have a number of large RSI ships on there. And our kind of plan is that we tackle that as a family of ships. We don't just tackle one of them and then we go off and do something else for 6 months, a year, come back and do another one, something else, come back and do another one. We want to tackle them all together, one after the other. And what that really allows us to do is just kind of streamline our development process. We're able to, for our more common areas of the ship, we're able to build kits that we're confident in, that we can reuse and we can make the most out of them. And then that allows us to focus our development time and our efforts really on the much more unique and the important and exciting areas of each ship. Tackling them as a family kind of allows us to expedite their development. We leverage the experience.
Die sagen gerade nichts anderes als das, was sie im Star Citizen Live gesagt haben. Also es ist 1:1 das Gleiche gerade.
So, first up we've got the Polaris.
Yep.
Next up we've got the Galaxy.
Kommt die Galaxy, danach
Then we've
kommt
got
die
the Perseus.
Ja.
And that kind of closes out most of our large RSI ships.
Dann kommt noch
and then
das,
we
die
can,
RSI
see what
Comet
we want to
kommt
take
dann
on
noch, weil
after that.
das ist das Mining-Schiff. Also,
Well, I think that's pretty much everything we want to talk about today. However, before we go, we're going to... Torsten's already stolen the predictable joke here, so we'll do one last thing to show you guys.
jetzt doch.
So, let's have a look at the current state of the Polaris in engine in its white box state.
Man hört in dem Publikum ziemlich gut raus. Man hört da ziemlich gut raus, dass die Leute, die da im Publikum sitzen, alle schon viel zu viel Geld ausgegeben haben. Das sind wirklich nur die 10.000 Leute, Zehntausender Leute, die da drin sitzen, gefühlt. Also nur die Geistesgestörten der Geistesgestörten sitzen da. Die komplette Konferenz bisher, alle so, wow, neue Tech. Oh, das Wasser bewegt sich. Schiffe! 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 Ey. Also. Großes, schönes Schiff. Und ich hab's, weil ich's nicht einschmelzen darf. Zadu, Dankeschön. Hat die Polaris gerade in einem Volley eine Idris platt gemacht? Vielleicht behalte ich die doch. Vielleicht behalte ich die doch. Rich, ich wünsche dir eine wundervolle gute Nacht. Ja, ist schön. Ist schön. Kommt zu Invictus. Also, müssen wir jetzt, ne? Also.
Whoa! Did you guys see that? That was amazing! Give it up for the ship team, everybody. That was amazing.
Was ist denn mit dem eigentlich? Müssen wir jetzt nicht groß drüber reden. Ne? Müssen wir jetzt nicht groß drüber reden? Die kommt zu Invictus. Das wäre die größte Verschwendung aller Zeiten, wenn die Polaris nicht zu Invictus kommt. Die größte von allen. Das Video wurde wahrscheinlich mit der Unreal Engine 5 gemacht. Meinst du, dass CIG etwas mit der Unreal Engine macht? Das war in-game. Das war gerade in-game. Das war in-game. Aber wie der Mabu schon sagt, ich gehe auch, wobei es sind 4 Torpedos, die alle 300.000 Schaden machen. Das sind 1,2 Millionen Schaden. Die Idris hat 1,4 Millionen HP, also es könnte tatsächlich sein. Das, ne? Könnte sein. Und DJ Maurice, Ausrufezeichen SC, heute ist die Chance, dass du das Spiel holst und nochmal 30 € sparst. Ich sag's nur. Wenn du Bock hast, mach's gerne. Meine ich ernst. Also man spart derzeit echt Geld. Nee, die machen nichts. In Unreal Engine machen die nichts.
and I want
Das
to
ist alles ihre eigene Engine.
Dragonfly right now. This is so cool. We have photographers taking photos. If you guys are interested in looking at your photos afterwards, JRDF will be making those photos available to everybody. I'm sure we'll
Ja,
tweet it out.
nächstes Jahr zu Invictus.
Get on
Deutschka,
it.
definitiv.
That's your job.
Nächstes Jahr zu Invictus.
Anyways,
Das
I'll cut it back over
macht
to
Sinn.
Jared.
Es
I'll
macht
see you
keinen
guys
anderen
back
Sinn.
here soon. Have fun.
Es macht ja keinen anderen Sinn. Es wäre kompletter Quatsch, wenn sie sagen, ja, Invictus ist das UEE-Ding. Ja, das wäre kompletter Käse zu sagen, wir bringen da nicht das Schiff raus.
I made it very clear that marketing did not make any of those videos. Developers made any of those videos. I can't help but notice that Polaris took out that Idris really quick. Are you trying to start about 50 different arguments on Reddit?
Yeah, we love for the arguments. Love them. Polaris for life.
After Idris.
Ben, would you like to go on record?
All ships are equally as brilliant as each other.
Until they get what's coming to them.
And Ellen, would you like to revise your answer?
After Idris.
The views and opinions of Ellen Bachelor Jr. do not represent those of Cloud Imperium Games, Robert Space Industries, or its subsidiaries.
Den Satz kann sagen, wenn schläft.
Don't look at us. Ben Parr's off the side. It's like just whatever. All right, so the Zeus. First question that I see a lot of people had on Twitch watching the stream is obviously it doesn't look like the Zeus
war so
that
gehypt.
we've all known from
Ich war so
the
gut.
lore and
Wir
stuff.
gucken uns, ganz kurz, wir gucken jetzt noch gleich das letzte Ding und danach gucken wir uns noch zusammen die Zeus und so weiter an. Ich schmelze wahrscheinlich meine Kraken gleich ein und wir holen uns ein paar neue Schiffe.
Listening to the presentation.
I wasn't.
So there's a few things. Obviously, it was built as a product of its time, both
Die haben ja
in
eine
lore
komplett eigene
and
Engine.
back in the day.
Die ist ein bisschen besser sogar noch als die
Thank you.
Engine.
But also, and I
Für
think
die
what
selbst.
Ben will probably want to talk about more of this, is
Ich bin gerade am Überlegen, welche Zeug soll
we
ich dir
have
zeigen,
design
welche ich mir
languages for
hole.
RSI now, and it doesn't really fit in with them
Ich hole
anymore.
mir
Yeah, I think when we look at
Die hole ich
reimagining
mir.
one of our ships, our manufacturers, we didn't want to just
Ich hatte ganz kurz
release
überlegt,
the classic Mini today.
Ich hatte ganz kurz überlegt,
wanted
mir
to
die hier zu
look
holen,
at it
weil die halt den
and
geilen, mega
Today,
krassen, mega
so
geilen Skin
maybe
dazu hätte.
tomorrow?
No.
Aber ich habe keine Lust,
so,
490 Euro
what
zu
we wanted to
bezahlen.
do was,
Ja.
bring it up to standard,
Deswegen,
both in terms of
ich
its
hol mir das hier
quality
definitiv.
and what it can deliver as a ship, but also visually. I think
Definitiv.
RSI has grown as a manufacturer
Und
over
dann-
the years. I think you can
könnt
see
ihr mal ruhig sein da hinten.
how
Und dann hole ich wahrscheinlich,
not all ships roll
ich habe gerade
off
überlegt,
the
mir die
production line in
Terrapin
day
zu
one.
holen,
Each of our manufacturers also have a history, and I think
aber
it's
ich glaube,
fine
ich
to
hole
see
mir die
progression
Scout.
for that throughout the timeline of our game. Sorry, Zach.
Just say you hate the Zeus.
But it's not just the visuals of it, though. It's important that the amount of time.
Die reden wichtige Sachen, ja, ja.
That's why I ask. And up to level.
Der Skin kostet 10 Euro bei Paints. Okay, danke dir. Geil. Und
The amount of time it takes to actually get.
das Paket, normalerweise ist ja, Warbond ist ja LTI, aber das Paket hat 120 Monate. 120 Monate sind 10 Jahre. Also.
The same amount of space as a space shuttle, and you wouldn't be able to use any of the gameplay. You wouldn't be able to fill it with cargo. It'd be really difficult getting out. And if we're spending that amount of time getting something flight ready in the universe, we'd much rather give you something you can engage with and do. Oh, it's fine. Do more with. It's far more interesting to get a ship that you can do bounty hunting in, or cargo in, or. He comes over, asks us to do an interview, and wanders off.
It's going to be one of those live streams, huh? All right, we're almost at the end. We're almost at the end.
Okay,
All right,
fair.
so enough about what the Zeus isn't. The Zeus, favorite thing, top of your head, what's your favorite thing about the Zeus? Ellen?
Das Design finde ich mega.
The Idris. Mark, favorite thing about the Zeus?
EMP, quantum dampener.
Ja,
Okay, favorite
ja
thing about
stimmt.
the Zeus?
Mega.
The white and black color scheme.
Favorite thing about the Zeus?
Its belly. It's got a really lovely, sleek belly, like a space shuttle.
Ich liebe dieses Team, das ist das Geilste von allen. Die 4, die sind so geil. Ich liebe die. Ich liebe die. Ich liebe die in jedem ISC,
Just
in
had
jedem
this image of a
SCL,
Zeus
immer.
wearing Spanx. What are you laughing at? All right, so we also talked about the Cutter Scout. Is this the last variant of the Cutter we're going to see? When we first introduced the Cutter, we said it was a platform ripe for future variants. Is this the last Cutter variant that's on the thing?
Es wurde eben noch einer gezeigt. Einer ist redacted.
Absolutely not. There was obviously that mysteriously third blurred image. So the Montreal team, did both of them as basically their first onboarding task into the vehicle pipeline. Both of them are done now. So you will see the third one soon, TM.
Morgen.
You just have a done spaceship and you're not putting it out there.
Strange, isn't it?
Exploration
That entire
Gameplay.
talk about the pipeline was BS.
Leute.
You've got a done spaceship. Put it out, John Crew.
Steht
No,
hier was
just
von
really streamlined
Live in the First Person? Taking Flight.
It's about the belly.
Explore
right.
Impending.
We're working with diminishing returns here, so we're going to wrap
Exploring
this up.
Improvements. Ja klar,
We're going to
macht
go
Sinn.
back to
Die kommt
Dan.
morgen,
He's
morgen
back in
um
Holby.
1 Uhr.
I think he's at the merch booth. Dan, what do you got
Morgen
for
um
us?
1 Uhr kommt das.
Well, the opposite of diminishing